Hello and welcome to AMS2 Hot Lap Shootouts, and today we have the complete class of the Copa Trucks in the triple header at Hockenheim. And to kick things off, we've got the VW versus the Iveco. Now this is the video that took the longest out of all of the Hot Lap Shootouts so far, because I had never driven the Copa Trucks before and I really had to learn how these things worked. And as you can see, I ended up falling into a bit of a drifting style with these trucks because that was the only way I was able to keep pace with what the leaderboards were showing me to be doing. Now the Iveco is the most nimble of the trucks. The VW is probably got the most potential in it, but the harder one to drive. As you can see, I was a little bit sideways here and there with that one. Coming into Sector 2, we've got a 0.4 of a second advantage for the VW as things stand, coming into the Motordrome for the final sector of this Hockenheim short circuit. Sachskurve is really a tricky corner for these trucks. Getting them stopped and turned in and not letting that back break away too much was really a challenge. It does appear that the VW is stretching out that lead a little bit more coming through this final sector, using all of the track available to it. As I said, I think the VW's got the most potential out of these trucks on first feel, but the Iveco is actually more fun to drive overall, and we've got a 1 second advantage over the Iveco here. Now we've got the MAN versus the Mercedes in semi-final 2. The MAN was the first of the trucks that I'd driven, so it'll be interesting to see whether I learned much in those additional laps I was doing on the other trucks. As with many of the drives that I've done in the shootouts before, a few practice laps and a single flying hot lap is how we play this game. And a half a second advantage going through that first sector for the MAN, that is a surprise. Out of all the trucks, the Mercedes is the most composed. It is the easiest one to get around the track, but it clearly isn't necessarily the fastest here. Now it will be interesting if the MAN is able to beat the Mercedes on its home turf, or if the Mercedes is able to stick it to the MAN coming through the Motordrome. Heading down into the tricky Sachskurve again, and as you see, a lock-up and a wide slide there from the MAN. I think that's allowed the Mercedes to catch up. It did appear the MAN had a big advantage coming into the final sector, but it does now seem that the Mercedes has caught right back up. This is going to be super tight as we head round the final curve, and the Mercedes is a bit too eager to get to the line. I hope it hasn't cost it. Here we come, coming over the line, and the MAN has got it by 1/100th of a second. Now we have the grand final, the VW versus the MAN, and let's see who is going to win this fight. A lock-up going into Nordkurve, and they look pretty even coming out of that first turn. Both these trucks were eager to get sideways during their laps, and as you can see, they are both squealing their way through that second turn. The MAN has got a 1/10 of a second advantage over the VW at the moment, and they look pretty damn even going down the back straight. Coming into the complex section, coming round towards Mobile 1 curve, and it looks like the VW has had a little bit of a cleaner section just there, and we've got a 1/100th of a second gap still between these trucks. Coming into the Motordrome down towards Sachskurve, and we will see whether the MAN's problems here last time will come back to haunt it, or whether the Mercedes was just particularly strong. It does appear that the VW has also had an epic turn through Sachskurve. So here we are, the final two corners of the Copa Truck shootout, and it appears the VW has a bit too much of an advantage. One mistake on Sachskurve has cost that MAN very dearly indeed, and the VW takes it with an 0.8 of a second win. I came back to the trucks the day after recording, and I found another 1 to 2 seconds depending on the truck from what we saw just in this video. There is a lot of potential in these to drive them quickly, and if there are any specialists out there who wish to share their secrets with me, I am all ears, and I'll see you in the next one.